now Saturday. Now it's 2:30. We have been busy today all morning. We got some stuff for y'all today. We gonna get down. I want to just give a shout out to the women's of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. I've been in fall workshop all morning. That's why I'm a little late today. But as you all know, better late than never. So I am here. And we got some juicy stuff to talk about. And it's juicy because there's nothing more important going on in this country right now than making sure that everybody is registered to vote. And not only are you registered to vote, but that you get your little behinds down to the poll and go vote. And so I have gotten, I call him an expert in the area of politics. He's been around for a long time. That's coming on our show here today in just a moment. And I'll introduce him. You all know him. If anybody lives in Chattanooga long enough, you all know Mr. Dennis Clark. Dennis Clark, where you at? Where's Mr. Dennis Clark? There he is. I see him. Yes. So we're going to be talking to Mr. Dennis Clark here in just a minute. He is the owner and CEO of Coretransit. And we're going to let him talk to you all and get you all excited about voting.
Hey, Dr. Woods.
So before we get to that, I got a few announcements to make. First of all, I just want to send my condolences in WPTP and Autumn Park eternal life this past Tuesday, and her services will be next Tuesday. They'll be receiving family members at the Chattanooga Chapel Funeral Home, and also on Wednesday, they will be funeralizing her. And we also have an announcement from Hamilton Chapel. I'm telling you, Hamilton Chapel and their senior pastor, Pastor McLean, you all are just busy in the community doing so much. I want to announce that they will be having a citywide revival, and there will be 5 churches involved in this revival and 10 different pastors starting September the 11th, which is a Monday at 6 p.m. They'll be at Phillips Temple CME Church, which is the north side of town. And we will have Pastor Robert Henry as the worship leader. The speaker would be Pastor Terrence Hanner, and the choir is New Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church. Then on Tuesday, September the 12th at 6 p.m., there will be the New Emmanuel Missionary Baptist Church on the south side, and the worship leader is Pastor Henry McLean. The speaker is Pastor George Mays, and the choir is West Side Missionary Baptist Church, and you all know they gets down. And then on Wednesday, the Phyllis Hall, and the choir is the New Pineywood Baptist Church. But we're going to have some good old-fashioned church that night. Then Friday, on the 15th of September, we got Fellowship Missionary Baptist Church, which is somewhere in the middle of town. The worship leader is Bishop William Simpson. The speaker is Bishop Damian Wigfall. The choir is to be announced. It may be me up there singing, so you all don't miss that night. And then Saturday, the 16th at 12 p.m., we're going to have services at Chickamauga Lake, which is the citywide old-time baptism in their swimming area. And guess what, y'all? They're going to have a citywide old-time baptism for anybody in the city for all ages. Wear long pants, have some socks on, some long sleeves, sweater, bring a large towel, and a change of clothes, because we're going to take it to the, as I say, take me to the water to be baptized. Take me to the water. Take me to the water to be baptized. So you all want to kick in on the citywide revival. We're going to be announcing this. It started September the 16th. I'm sorry, not September the 16th, September the 11th. And then, yes, September the 23rd, yours truly, Dr. Woods, is the keynote speaker at Hamlet Chapel's Women Breakfast Conference. I will be speaking on the seasoned, mature women, bridging the gap between those women, which includes me, and the younger women and the younger generation, and what God has to say about bridging that generational gap, what we can do to make our relationships stronger, using the word of God to guide us. And I'm inviting everybody to come out September the 23rd to Hamlet Chapel. It starts at 10 o'clock. We're going to have breakfast, and you all going to be fed, because the word of God is going to come alive through me to you. So I'm very excited about giving the message about bridging the gap between our seasoned wise women. I call us wise women, and our young women who also in their own way, they're wise too. What we can do to make our relationship stronger, and what we can do to help one another in this generation and this time. It's going to be good, y'all. Don't miss it. It's going to be a great time for all of us. And I think some healing will come out of this too. I've been talking to seasoned wise women, and I've been talking to some of the younger women, and just getting their perspective on what we can do to make the relationships better and bridge that generational gap. And I'm really excited about what I'm hearing, surprised about some of the stuff that I'm hearing from both sides of the equation. So it's going to be fun. We're going to be fed with the word of God, and I am excited about it. And now we are ready to get down with what we came for. Where is my speaker? Where is my guest today? Where is he at? Let me tell y'all a little bit about Mr. Dennis Clark. Mr. Dennis Clark, like I said earlier, is the owner and CEO of Coretransit. It's a company founded 3 years ago with clients ranging from Chamberlain Center for Children and UTC. Dennis is no stranger to politics. You all have seen him all around the city. Lord, no, we've seen him. He's ran for city council. He's ran for the State House of Representatives, and he has served in leadership roles working on numerous campaigns. The most notable campaign that he worked on was the one serving as the regional director for one of the wealthiest men in the world. That's Mike Bloomberg, when he was running for president. And he's also the former mayor of New York. Dennis currently works in Hamilton County District Attorney's Office as our community liaison and victims advocate. Dennis, whoa, what is going on? You are busy, man.
Dr. Woods, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, perfect. I use my AirPods for these digital interviews now, so the audio can come in better. So
it's coming in real good. You look good too, Dennis. What you doing? What you drinking?
What am I drinking today?
No, I'm talking about what good stuff are you drinking. So you gotta be careful what you say on the radio.
Like,
your skin looks really good. Your skin looks really good. You look good. You're glowing on the TV. You look great.
You know what? I've been getting some good rest. Just the doctor said, Dennis, you need to take some time. I took a little time off this week to myself, and I just got back in town. Actually, I was in Calhoun, Georgia. My nephew plays for a 5-year-old little league football team out of Atlanta. So they were playing a Chattanooga team in Calhoun. And so did that. So I'm probably shining and a little glistening because I've been in the sun.
You glowing. You are glowing. You look great.
So you look good too.
Thank you. It's always good when we can take some time off of my busy schedule and do that family thing. You know, ain't nothing like big uncle showing up for your game, you know, and you 5.
Oh, listen, he loves KJ Scarborough. That is my heart. I probably have about 5 or 6 7. I need to get the count right, but I probably have about 5 or 7 nieces and nephews. I don't have children, but I've lived vicariously through those beautiful children that my sisters have blessed me with. Just being Uncle Din Din.
I
That's
know.
what that's what they call me, Uncle Din Din.
All right, then. All
Yeah.
right.
But
So
I'm glad to be in these neck of the woods with you, Dr. Woods. And you do a
yeah,
lot. And so we appreciate you for keeping this community informed. And not just informed, but activated. So thank you for having me on to talk about voting. And I want to apologize in advance. I might say some things that might hurt some people's
go
feelings,
right ahead. Go right
but
ahead.
I will be 40 in December, and so I'm getting to that age where I don't really care.
I
You
know.
know, who cares?
You're telling the truth. You don't have
Telling
to
the
care.
truth.
You don't
That's
have
right.
to. You don't have to care.
Just tell
Anybody
the
want
truth.
to take it up with you? They can take it up with you. But let's do it here
Let's
on
do it.
what's happening in your neck of the woods. We tell it like it is. We'll let the chips fall where they may, and hey, we can take it up later. If you want to come on the show and challenge what's said, come on. I
Come
want
on. Come on.
the show. Come on.
Come on.
So Dennis,
Yes,
why is
ma'am.
it, first of all, why is it so important now? I mean, it's always been important, but why is this, in your opinion, so important for everybody to understand that they have a civic duty to go and register to vote, and not just register, because a lot of people got voting cards. They don't register, but they're not going to the poll. They're not voting. It's not doing any good for
Yeah.
the card to be in their pocket. So talk to us about the dynamics of that.
Yeah, absolutely, Dr. Woods. And I think every year we use the term, this is the most important election, and literally every year the stakes are higher where it does become the most important election. And guess what? We're back again. And this is probably one of the most important elections coming up in 2024. And mostly because you're my big sister and I'm only 40. And you probably know a little bit more about the history of civil rights,
Yes.
and maybe have lived some of those experiences. My generations didn't go to segregated school. My generation didn't have to, deal with some of the things that our elders fought for. And for the first time in history, we are seeing an authoritarian political party, formerly known as the Republicans. I tell people they're not a political party anymore. And it's sad because I think we need that balance. I have Republican friends and Democrat friends.
Absolutely.
Hell, I think I might be more independent now than anything. But unfortunately, we have a former president who has hijacked a major political party. And Dr. Woods, they are rolling back so many rights that we've never seen rolled back before. Voting rights. You got the state of Alabama right now that's fighting for a majority congressional district so they can have a Black congressperson.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of things that, you'll hear a lot of people say, it's 2023. I can't believe this is happening. Right. Believe it. And that's why this is the most important election, because they are rolling back things, civil rights laws, affirmative action,
y'all.
Abortion, all this stuff that we thought was ironclad in the law.
Yes.
They are rolling back. If you live in the state of Florida, which the NAACP has advised us not to travel to, it is a state of complete disarray. They won't allow us to talk about African American history in Arkansas and Florida.
They take it out the library. It's real crazy.
So it's getting crazy and radical out here, and we have to call it for what it is. And like I said, I work for a Republican whom I adore, but there are some Republicans who have really gone off the rails in certain states, even including ours, when it comes to gun laws. And honestly, we just have to say it plainly, and I'm gonna say it like this.
Go ahead.
You may not like Democrats. I don't like all of them either sometimes. I was the vice chair of the Democratic Party and did not like our party chair. I'll say that publicly here. But this is a crucial time where we must not, and Dr. Tommy Brown used to say this, vote smart. You may not like Democrats or Republicans, but right now the Republicans are doing some very authoritarian things that are rolling back rights for African Americans, and we have to flood the polls. You know how we flood the lines when Jordans come out?
Yes.
You know how y'all been flooding the State Farm and Mercedes Arena for Beyonce tickets? You have to flood the lines to these polls because this is how it's impacting your everyday life. Biden tried to forgive y'all student loans. The Republicans blocked it. Yeah, some of you women who have to have an abortion for different medical
or for rape or
healthcare,
incest.
the Republicans blocked it. They're about to roll back. This was recently in the news over the weekend. During the pandemic, they gave all these daycares all types of subsidies. You're about to see 70,000 daycares close. The Republicans have blocked it. And so I just want people to remember that if it's just like counting money, you know, when people are like, oh, my vote don't count, which I think is the dumbest thing ever. And I said, take a penny away from $100.
And what you got?
And it's not $100 anymore. So yes, your vote do count. Just like that penny, count to $100, that one vote counts to making a difference in who gets into office to make sure our Black behinds can still be sovereign Americans. Because if you live in the state of Florida right now, which thank God I don't, your children can't even learn about African American history. So to answer your question in short, Dr. Woods, this is the most important election of our lifetimes, because let me tell you something, and I'm going to say it because we have to be very specific, these white evangelical radical authoritarian people, okay, let's call it what it is, have decided that not all of us are equal. And they're basically, Donald Trump, their grand wizard, has given them the permission to just run amok. And they will run amok and roll back all this stuff if we don't show up and vote. And wow. we say this every year. You know, you have activists like myself and yours. Every election cycle, what are we doing? Go vote, go vote. We got to beg and feed Black people to vote, and I'm sick of that.
Take them some chicken and some barbecue
sick of that.
Or whatever they like to eat, caviar, whatever. But yes, and I want to say this. I'm gonna piggyback on what you're saying. A lot of times, people don't understand the power of the vote because they feel powerless.
Yes.
And so we want to let everybody know that not only do you have the power, but you have the right. Somebody died, lost a lot of shed blood.
Yeah.
Just so we can go in there and check some boxes off. No matter who you check off, check somebody off. You need to go in there and exercise that power that you have. And it's not in your mouth. You can talk about it all day long, but until you take that mouth and put a pen in your hand and take your mouth into the polls and check a box off, then you might as well be quiet, because it's not gonna matter. Your vote counts. And I'm telling you right now, there are so many people that are poor in this country. You know, we ain't even got to go outside of Chattanooga. In the city of Chattanooga, when you look at the demographics and the wealth, how it's broken down, there are so many people in the lower socioeconomic bracket. In terms of numbers, when you look at numbers, there are so many. It doesn't matter if you're Black, white, Hispanic, woman, male. There are so many poor people and folks who stand to lose big, that may be even in the middle class, if they stay home and not vote their right in their conscience. So we're saying to everybody, we're not telling you how to vote.
No.
We're not telling you how to vote. Just vote. These high school students, we want you all on our website right now. You can go to Autumn Park Development Corporation's website at apdc98.org, or our radio station website at WPTP1000fm.com. And on that site, on the homepage, you can click where it says register here to vote. And it will take you straight to the site where you can register from your desktop, from your phone, from your laptop. So for all of the younger millennials and XYG, elemental P generation, whatever generation, UTC, whatever generation of college or university you went to, if you have access to to a computer, laptop, cell phone, go to our websites, click on the link, and start registering yourself to vote. If you get stuck and you don't know what to do, then that's where we come in hand. There are so many organizations. The Hamilton County Coalition, what is it called? Hamilton County Voters Coalition. There are so many people. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Delta Sigma Theta. There are so many Greek organizations that can help you, including us here at Autumn Park Development Corporation, with filling out that application to get yourself registered to vote. And there are some questions that people are leery of. They've been in trouble legally with the law, and they feel like they don't have a right to vote. Well, guess what? You can get that stuff purged. You hadn't killed anybody or raped anybody. You can speak more to this, Dennis, as been a liaison for the community in the district attorney's office. You can go to the district attorney's office and to them about getting your records expunged and therefore getting your rights restored. You do it now because voting starts next year.
That's right.
We're in September. You got almost a whole year to get your record straight and get back the rights to vote. And it doesn't take anything but filling out a piece of paper. If you can't read and write, there's somebody that can help you read and write. But most importantly, don't just sit there and do nothing and then start complaining about you don't have a right anymore, because that's what's on the line. That's what's
I will say, and it is on the line. And I will say, if there are, first of all, the state of Tennessee has not made it easy for previously incarcerated people to have their rights restored. It's a very complicated system, which I'm very grateful to our Attorney General Cody Womp, who has a specialized attorney in our office named Tom Lanson. So you can call. Here we go. Like people like, I don't know.
Give the number out, Dennis. What number?
It's that every time in Hamilton County, it's that 209 number. I tell people it's either from the health department or the jail. But in this case, that 209 number 7400 is the direct line to the district attorney's office, or come down to the courts building, come to the third floor, get the packet, because we have an attorney who his only job, his 8 to 5 job, is to work with you and to clear all the hurdles and to prepare you with the criminal court clerk's office or whatever you need to do, and circuit court clerk or circuit court judge, because now you got to go, a judge has to sign off on this stuff now. We'll walk you through it. But you have to take the first step. I tell people, people do what they want to do, Dr. Woods.
Yes, they do.
And I'm gonna tell you, and this is gonna sound awful. Please don't take this the wrong way to your listening audience. I'm done registering people to
vote. They gotta register themselves.
I'm done, because I'm telling you, when people want to put gas in their car, when people want to go hook up with their sneaky link, when people want to do whatever they want to do.
Not sneaky link.
Whatever. I'm just keeping it real. I gotta keep it real with our people. When you want to, you know what I'm saying? I have spent half of my adult life trying to bring people to the water to drink in our community, just as it is in the white community. You don't got to do this in white communities. Them people will come out and vote in snow, sleet, and I think it was a tornado earlier today in North Georgia.
Wow, yeah.
As I was driving through, and those people will still come out and vote. And I say this to say we have to start changing the mindset of our people and understanding that the civic process behooves your everyday life, to your disability check, your social security check. All of y'all who gonna get cut off from food stamps now, they're gonna they're cutting people off from food stamps that had the extension from the COVID stuff. And now there's a different work requirement. And I tell people, these are the people like, well, who's doing this stuff to us? Who's doing it?
I know.
When you don't vote for governors, when you don't vote for state representatives, when you don't vote for mayors, which I don't understand why Black people don't vote more for judges. I'm like, we complain so much about
how it impacts them. They don't understand. Tell them how it impacts them. What these judges?
It impacts your everyday life. And when I say your everyday life, I'm talking about, Dr. Woods, if you get a parking ticket, these people can, when I say these people, the law is designed to where if you don't have insurance, let's say you don't have insurance and you get pulled over, they revoke your license, and then you're driving on a revoked license. Boom, they take you to jail. Boom, you now in the criminal justice system. That's all it takes. But
Yes.
if in people, or you get your you don't pay child support, you
Woo.
get your license taken.
Mm.
Dr. Woods, these are all laws that who made? State representatives.
State
People
rep.
that you we supposed to be voting for. So I tell black men, you don't like child support issues, why you not voting for why you not voting for the juvenile court judge that comes around every 8 years?
Ooh,
If
yes.
you don't if you
Eight
don't like how
years,
things
not
are being
four, not two, but
8 years.
8 years they're gonna be there.
But my job, when I tell people two things I want to do now is educate people and get people riled up. I'm done. We got a lot of people who are registered to vote, Dr. Woods, who are not voting. That's why I
That's
tell
what
people
I was
I'm done
talking
registering
about
people to
earlier.
vote.
I said that earlier. It does you no good to get registered to vote and don't go to the poll and vote. What are you doing? Vote for somebody in every category. If you don't know who's in your district, then it will behoove you to say, I need a sample ballot. You can go down to the election commission or call your
Mm-mm,
representative
mm-mm,
and
mm-mm.
talk to them. Tell them what they need to do.
I'm not even, we know,
We ain't
Let me
doing
tell you,
it.
if everybody on social media, I'm telling you something, when you want to
Yes,
find out something, that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to hold our hands no more on this voting topic. Black people have to wake up and realize what's really at stake. It's a law right now, Dr. Woods, that the governor not Bill Haslam, Bill Lee signed
yes.
that you're going to be talking about on this show, I'm sure very soon, where if your third grade African American child does not pass a reading test, he will be held back.
Did y'all
And
hear that?
that law is in effect right now. As a matter of fact, some of y'all listening probably got nieces and children right now who are, I know at least two black boys
I know of
that
one.
we transport. They were going to one school, but now they're at another school because they failed third grade. That's a law in the state of Tennessee. And that
Y'all, it's
it is going to
real.
disproportionately impact the black community. And watch you be talking about this topic on your show in about 6 months.
And you all, let me tell you now, I will tell you that Dennis, the millennials and the XYG generation, well, the LMNOP generation are a generation of privileged children
Yeah,
and
very.
adults. They don't understand.
Same.
They were born into success in so many ways. They didn't have to walk. I remember when I went to segregated schools, and I remember when busing started. It started when I was in the third grade.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Things were segregated, and I had to ride the bus. So what I'm saying is, now when my children came along, it wasn't any more segregated schools unless you live in a certain neighborhood. Now they
Yeah.
segregate you by your neighborhoods.
By
Oh,
your zip
if you
code.
live on the North Shore and you live on the west side, in the west side project, that's not in your district. You got to go to the schools in your district. So they still are somewhat segregating the kids by neighborhoods, but it's not as obvious. It's kind of rolled back. But the point is, the generations now, you all wake up, because the
Wake
things
up,
that we
baby.
fought for in my generation and my generations before me, we are
Mm-hmm.
losing it
Losing
because
it.
Dennis, y'all falling asleep on us. Y'all are on our shoulders. Now we need you all to take that torch and carry it on. Don't let what we fought for, what we died for, what we lost blood for, many of us were arrested for,
That's right.
murdered over. Don't let that be in vain. Your generation is gonna have to. They're in the digital age. We're in this artificial intelligent age. You all are some of the brightest young adults ever in the history of mankind. So I know that you all can get on my little babies, 2 years old, grandbabies, can take my cell phone right now and scroll and find videos on it and games on it and play. So I don't know, it's something with God time, I don't know. But the brain is so powerful in your
Very powerful.
generation with the knowledge that you all have and that innate ability to understand stuff that we didn't have because God didn't bring us into that knowledge yet. But
Mm-hmm.
you all are so far advanced technologically that you can get on the internet, Facebook, all these other social media platforms and do whatever you want to do. So you're not dumb. You're not dumb. And so we are counting on you. We are counting on you, your generation. We're counting on you all to do what you have to do. You want to be grown? You know, you think we dumb and old fashioned? Okay, I'll buy that. But show me what you working with. You know, if you're smarter than us, you know more than us, you got this. We don't do it that way no more, Dr. Woods. We do it this way. You know, y'all old fashioned. Okay, I buy that. Well, show me what you're doing is better, and show me where what you're gonna do is gonna continue the progress in our community. Show me all this new stuff y'all got, this new technology. In fact, I'm speaking September the 23rd at Hamilton Chapel's Women's Breakfast Conference, and the title is "Bridging the Gap Between the Wise and the Seasoned Women and the Younger Generation." That gap, bridging that gap. And so, bridge the gap. If I come to you halfway with my hand extended, this generation, I need you all to come back halfway. And there are rules to every game. You know, I had a friend over this weekend, and there are certain things you can't say to people in my generation and not get, taught, really a tongue lashing. And, because it's just not acceptable. There's things that maybe we say to you that you don't take it kindly because you're not used to it. So there's something we have to do on the communication end to bridge the gap. And when we talk about politics and going to the poll and vote, there's some stuff this old lady know. There's some stuff that some of the folks that's in my generation and before, they know. And they could tell you, because we know what it's like to sit in the back of the bus or go to segregated schools or be talked about, laughed at, get the used books that's passed down from some of the white schools when we were segregated. The books are tore up, wrote it all in, pages missing, all this kind of stuff. But we did what we had to do, and we made it because we had people in our schools that cared about us. So we know some stuff, and that's where we're going back. If your generation don't step up and get your butts to the poll and vote, and you use social media to make that a campaign effort, it's not cool anymore, Dennis. It's not cool not to go vote. It's just not cool. It's not.
Well, it's a lot of things that this generation, they walking around singing all these awful rap songs,
Talk to them.
Pound Town this and what color, and I really, people won't say it out loud, but like I tell people, people like you and I, we're entrepreneurs. I'm just gonna speak freely. When the bottom falls out, it's not gonna fall on us. Okay, let's just be real. It's not gonna fall on us. We do this for people who are disadvantaged, who are low income individuals, disenfranchised people. When injustices hit, it hits those who are the most vulnerable. We know that. That's why we do what we do.
Yes.
It's to help other people. Go ahead.
I'm gonna add something. I'm gonna add a little wisdom to that. Initially, it comes for the vulnerable and it sucks them up. But eventually, it works its way back to those like you and I.
Yeah.
Because we can't fight. I've been in the battle where it's one me against a million of them. And you cannot hold up the bloodstained banner without a good army.
That's
so
right.
They come for them today, they come
But
back
it'll be us tomorrow.
So
you're absolutely right.
we gonna do this thing together, because if you get hurt and fall behind, I can't win this war. I need all of my sisters and brothers, all of us fighting together. And when I say sisters and brothers, I'm not talking about just black folk. You all got to recognize that just because you white, just because you brown, Asian, or whatever, the message goes to you too.
That's right.
Because the last time I checked, when you got a certain amount of money, it don't even matter what color you are.
That's right.
It
But
don't
it's
matter.
but what I'm saying is I think that how things impact certain vulnerable people more, because we all,
Yes.
you're right, we all get impacted. And I think there's a certain level of reprioritizing, and nobody wants to hear about accountability and reprioritizing. Like, we should not have to beg our people to go vote, but we have a miseducated a miseducated generation. I got nieces and nephews. They'll be like, "Who is Martin Luther King?" I kid you not.
Don't even know.
Don't even know.
That's
And
what
people think I'm joking. Like,
oh
they
yes.
don't know.
That's awful.
That's
They
how
don't know who
far
these people
removed we
are.
are.
Yes, they don't
And
know.
so they think it's cool, when they allow white people to use the N word. I had to check one of my nieces. Oh, that's cool. They can use, how we like to call each other the N word.
They don't understand where that word originated
They
from.
don't
It
understand where
never
it comes from.
impacted them. It never impacted them.
Now they're allowing their white peers to say, "What up, my N word?" And I was like, that's not cool.
No, it's not.
But that's how miseducated and misguided this generation is, Dr. Woods. And as Black people, as Black elders, as Black leaders, as Black entrepreneurs, we have got to have a conversation. And it's a tough conversation. And I said, it's time for us to have a tent meeting and get all the Black people together. I was like, listen, y'all can listen to your rap music and do whatever you need to do and go party, go to Beyonce concerts, buy whatever Jordans, you can do all of that. But make sure your house is in order. And when I say your house is in order, make sure you are civically engaged,
Yes.
because you ain't gonna have no house.
Hello.
Some of us can't buy no house because they don't jacked up this inflation stuff rates, which is all political. Because people think politics is just for us nerds. I'm like, no, it impacts how much they take out your check. It
Yes.
impacts if you get a social security check or disability check. It impacts if you go to jail, how much
Yes.
child support you pay. And
How
so
long you gonna stay in jail?
how long you gonna stay in jail are people who are elected. These are individuals that you are supposed to go push a button for and say, hey, I want Cody Wump to be the district attorney or whoever, or hey, I want this to be my commissioner. You get a choice. But when you decide not to choose, guess what? Guess who choose for you?
The mother
They
folks.
do. Them other folks that don't look like this. You talking about this glistening, they don't look like this.
Right.
And they choose for you. And then they start making rules that you have to abide by, because you decided not to show up and vote for the judge.
And
And
let
then
me
you
tell
wondering who making the laws for mandatory and minimum sentencing.
and let me tell you
It's
something.
crazy.
It matters who your local people are, who your
Yeah.
state people are. But now we've got a presidential
Excuse me.
election coming along. And the reason why we're having so many bad situations to come about is because the Supreme Court judges have, they are appointed by your president of the United States. And when enough of them bad boys get together, and it's enough of them to vote the same way, they take your rights away to
Yeah.
have an abortion.
And let me tell you how.
Your right away to vote.
And let
That's
me tell you
power.
what happened with that in a nutshell. Remember all of these Black men. Well, I don't like Hillary Clinton. They did the 1993 crime bill, which is, I'm like, there were details in that bill that people were not educated about. Remember that whole rise and
Yes.
all of these Black men talking about they were going to vote for Donald Trump, and I warned people then. I think you and I warned people, going
Mhm.
back to the Supreme Court stuff. This man, Donald Trump, one of the worst presidents we've ever had, not just by my opinion, but by the numbers, the number of impeachments, the number of indictments. Numbers don't lie. The worst president we've ever had has appointed the most Supreme Court justices. You know why? Because that year that all of
There
y'all
you go. Them
decided,
seats came open.
that year when y'all decided that it was better to have Donald Trump versus
Then
Hillary
Hillary.
Clinton, which I'm like, I had issues with Hillary, but again, going back to that phrase I used, vote smart. Because now we don't voted against ourselves, and now we're gonna be paying for it,
Or didn't vote at all and somebody
and
else
didn't
voted.
vote at all. Now this president done appointed all these Supreme Court justices, and they shooting down a
They
women's right to
rolling that
health
clock
care.
back like it's they having a good
Affirmative action. And people like,
gone,
what's affirmative
gone.
action? Affirmative action was shot down by the Supreme Court. That's when that was a law that allowed our black behinds to go to, all of y'all who didn't want to go to HBCUs and thought it was better to go to Harvard and Princeton, which is fine. They didn't want y'all at first. And so they created a law called the affirmative action. So you could go to Harvard and Princeton.
And
But
don't leave
now
out UTK because I went to UT Knoxville and I'm a product of
you are a
affirmative
product.
action.
You
I'm a
are a product
product
of
of
affirmative
affirmative.
action. But guess what? Now affirmative action does not exist anymore as
And
of a
what
month
about
ago.
diversion and inclusion? All these nice
Gone.
gone. I wonder about these people's jobs at these big corporations where they had to
No, they
hire
cut those positions.
diversion and inclusion. These people are losing jobs because they can no longer
Black
use
people
that.
losing jobs.
They can't.
We
They
voted
can't. They're
against
losing their jobs.
we
Because
voted
of that
Dr.
law.
Woods, we voted against ourselves. And that's why I was like, I am done with the registration. So we got a bunch of black people registered that's not voting. We need to start educating ourselves on who to vote for and why we voting. I remember I was sick in my stomach when I would hear black people say two things that made me mad during the Trump era. My vote don't count, and I'm voting for Donald Trump because I made more money when you didn't. All of y'all, let me help y'all with some math. And Dr. Woods, you know this because you're a business person. When everybody who walk around talking about they made more money with Donald Trump, let me tell you how the U.S. economy works really quickly. It's called inflation.
Mm-hmm.
So when you thought you were saving money, they said we're gonna go up on the price of goods, the
Yes.
price of real estate, the
Yes.
price of gas.
Yes.
And so you thought you were saving money, but you was actually paying more money out. And then Dr. Woods, what does the government do when we start spending money? They tax it. So the money that you thought you was saving,
Yes.
you are paying more for everything, and the government is getting more tax dollars. And that was under your best friend Donald J. Trump.
Yeah.
And that is a fact.
Nothing. If they raise the price of everything, even if you made more money on your check, you spent more.
You spent more, baby.
More. And
I be
that's
trying to help these people.
no better off. Most
We're
people
no better off.
are better off today than they
People
were
killed me.
before.
People killed me, and I was like, listen, you can you do whatever you want to do, but vote smart. I told people I didn't have anything against him initially, but then I realized this is where we had the wake up call. I realized who he was really working for when he went to Charlottesville, and with that one sentence that changed American history, he said there are fine people on both sides. And that's when he told the Proud Boys, the KKK, I think y'all are fine people.
I remember
And
that.
guess what they doing now?
Kept echoing that all over the radio world.
That line and that incident, Dr. Woods, changed American history.
It did.
And here we are.
Says, bring them out, bring them out.
Here we are being priced out of Woodmore and Washington Hills. I used to live off of Midland Pike, and right in Adamson Development, they got houses over there $425,000. Now I have two jobs. I own my own business and work for the district attorney's office. And I would struggle paying a note on $425,000. Imagine all those retired teachers, Dr. Woods, who live in Woodmore. I know a bunch of them.
If you don't own your house right now, and hadn't bought your house before this inflation hit, you might be in a little trouble. Might be in a little trouble.
So I want to start educating black folks and saying, listen, if you vote, let's talk about why you need to vote for this particular judge. You know, the mayor just announced this week that he's running for re-election.
In 2025, he's 2 years ahead. 2 years ahead. He like, look here, anybody want to come for me? I'm letting y'all know in 2023 that it's going to be down. In 2025, I'm coming back.
Now, if we're talking about smart voters, right? That's what we're talking about. Because that's my answer to your question. What was the topic of how important these elections are? We need smart people thinking critically. about what they're voting for. And so the mayor, Dr. Woods, has said, I want to be our mayor again in 2025. That's March. So we elect the president in November. And then in the city of Chattanooga, we turn around 4 months later and elect the mayor and all of city council, all of city council. So this is and I was like, fine, Mayor Tim Kelly, wonderful. Thank you for letting us know you'd like to be our mayor again, which I'm not against right now. But however, this is our time as Black leaders to be like, okay, Mayor Tim Kelly, you want to be our mayor? Let's start doing an evaluation. Let's start asking questions. Let's start demanding so that in 2 years I can decide based off your record
whether or not
if I'm gonna vote for you. If I'm gonna vote for you again.
There you go. Now that's smart.
That's smart. We got to be smart voters.
We already know he wants to be our mayor again in 2025. And Mayor Kelly, if you're listening, bravo for that announcement. But we're going to hold you accountable and everybody else accountable for what you're doing in that role. So we're not saying that we're not going to vote for you. We're just saying that we want to see some results in our community. And we don't want numbers just thrown out. We want to see the results. Because people can make all kinds of statements about what they've done, but we want to see the proof in that. If homelessness has decreased, we want to see that. Where are these people? Where did they go? What homes are they? How many people have you put in homes? Where are they? Let's see the numbers. Let's see where they are. I want to know where they are. You know, if they're no longer on 11th Street, where did they go? Where did they go?
I don't know what that's a good question. I'm gonna tell you where they went. And again, I apologize for anybody I offend. They on Brainerd Road. And everybody listening to this show who lived in Brainerd, because I'm a Brainerd person, when they built those two plasma centers, there's a plasma center right there more in Germantown. I'm sorry, Germantown and Brainerd. And they just put another plasma center right there at the Chick-fil-A in our wonderful Midtown, right? Which I thought was a mistake. I thought that was funny that they're trying to rebrand the area. But right. And so if you drive through Brainerd Road, it used to be you could drive through 11th Street, you will see all these homeless camps. Now you drive on Brainerd Road. Because they didn't go nowhere. I don't think they're in housing anywhere either. They're on Brainerd Road, and everybody listening, clapping in their hand. That's like, yeah, he's right, because I know I drive down Brainerd Road every day, and I see these individuals who are struggling mentally with drug addictions, and they're going in and out of these I was driving, because I had to pick up kids in the morning at Chambliss sometimes, and it'd be people lined up at the plasma center at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. I know of some people who were homeless. And they were fortunate enough to get a housing project and to pay their $100 rent a month. They donate plasma twice or 3 times a week to get the money up to pay their bill. And so it's a real thing. I remember when I was, and I'm not talking about them because I remember when I was in college at UT Knoxville. And you know, when you're a student, you broke. You struggling.
I know.
You gotta wash your little clothes and stuff. And when they have a party, the little party's $10. You trying to come up with your little change to go to the little parties and stuff. I donated my plasma a few times. Give you a little check. Now they load up their money on a card.
Yes, that's right.
And they use it like a credit card, although it's not a credit card. It's not attached to a bank. It's more like a gift card, but they can shop with it anywhere and they can pay bills with it. So what I'm saying is, it's a real thing. The plasma center is not going to turn anybody away because they need blood bad. They need plasma. They don't care if you come in there and you just put out a joint on the or smoke.
They don't care.
Smoke a straight line. If your blood, if your blood is good, they like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna try to help you get off them drugs, but thank you for your blood. Thank you for your blood. I'll see you in 2 days. So what I'm saying is, we just want to let everybody know this is why this is such an important program today.
That's
and we're gonna keep on doing this. We're gonna have Hamilton County Coalition on here. We're gonna have some of our elected officials on here. And not to be political one way or the other, But we need to let them share why it's important for people to vote, not just for them, but just to vote. Why is it important in our local community? Why is
Right.
it so important? And we're going to have some regular people that vote. We're going to have some voters to come on and talk about why they don't want to vote. I
Yeah.
want to know why.
I want to know.
Why don't you? What
Baby.
that's keeping you from getting registered to vote, especially when you have children, especially when you're dependent on the system in any capacity, whether
Yeah.
it's food stamps, what is it, chip, checks, whatever y'all are getting on the system, disability checks, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you participating in the process to make sure that you keep that money rolling in your household and your children have the best chance to survive through the school system? It's important for you to participate with the Department of Education when they have their meetings. Was it every Thursday at the Hamilton County Board of Education? Is it Wednesday or Thursday their meetings?
It's on Thursdays, but I think it's like once a month on Thursdays.
Once a month. You got babies in school. You need to go see how they're voting. This stuff affects your babies. You know?
Because if y'all kids, I'm telling y'all right now, if your babies failed that third grade test this year, or it went into effect last year, and nobody's talking about this now, but I would love to do a records request to learn how many children
and the demographics of that.
And the demographic, they've been very quiet about this, but there were several. And I guarantee you, one of the reasons why they have been quiet about it is because it could trigger, in my opinion, something similar to the Brown versus education, where this law is disproportionately impacting African American children. Notice, ain't nobody said nothing about it.
Okay, parents.
Ain't
Now,
nobody said nothing about it.
I'm gonna talk to my black and brown mamas, and yes, my white mamas too. I'm gonna talk to y'all, all of y'all mamas. Listen to me. If you have a kid in school, all of my children are out of school, but I got grandbabies coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's so important for you to get up out of that bed or wherever you at, you partying, whatever, watching TV, whatever you doing, to get involved with the educational process of your kids, because one day they're going to grow up and they're going to come back home to roost on you. And if you want them to be successful, your job is to make sure that they have every fair chance possible to make it. If not, you're going to bear the burden.
That's right.
You're going to bear the burden.
Society will bear the burden.
Unless you just don't care. Now, I'm beginning to believe, Dennis, that there are some mamas that just don't give a flip. They just don't give a flip. They don't give a flip. That's why we got Boys and Girls Club. That's why we got all these other social programs out there for children, for parents who have just either don't care about their kids or given up on them because the kid don't deserve that kind of treatment. They don't deserve it.
Like I said, I work with children and the public on a daily basis, and I think people really do love their children, but we live in a society now where people are so hopeless.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my grandmama and them used to dress up to go to the grocery store, and I never understood it because we didn't have a lot of money. But there's a lack of dignity and self-respect in our culture.
That's the word.
And it's dignity and self-respect, because now you let anything,
mm-hmm.
you let anything happen to you. Kids, you don't care how they go outside. These kids are wearing hoodies in 100-degree weather.
That's and the mamas weird. On social media with their bellies all out, with earrings in their belly button and twerking
on everybody, baby. It's just one of those things where we have to get back to the basics of Black dignity. Now, people are like, oh, Dennis, you Black. You sound like you because you work for Cody, you may be a little, Uncle Thomas. No, I'm still blackity black. When I got hired from
black.
I worked for the Equity Alliance for 2 years. And everybody knows how I feel about Black dignity, Black self-respect, Black power. And a lot of that, yes, white people have done some very terroristic things. I tell people, I don't call the civil rights era. I call it an era of terror, on black people. That's what happened. And that wasn't that long ago. People act like my mama is 60. My grandparents are still 87. Grandfather, Harold Walker, is still alive. People act like that generation is so far removed. There are white people who are still alive, principals and bankers, who, when you look at that footage of when they were protesting those children who were walking into Central High School in Arkansas. I love this example. It's in black and white footage, but you know how old those people are, Dr. Woods?
How old are they?
They 72. They're still alive.
Still
Those
alive.
white people who were protesting the Little Rock Nine. I think, was it Little Rock Nine?
Little Rock Nine.
Which they're your age, Dr. Woods.
Yes.
People think that is so far removed. These are young people.
Yes.
Dr. Woods is not old. These are young people. And the era of racism and the era of terror, and those terrorists are still alive.
Still alive.
And they are still in charge of institutions. They're state representatives. They're bankers.
They're lawyers. They're judges.
They're lawyers and judges. And I be trying to tell black people, and it's not that I don't like white people, because that's not the case. But I'm going to tell you something. I am educated about culturally and historically what we are faced against. And so that's why I tell black people, stick together. Not only stick together economically, like, our Jewish brothers and sisters who we have been allies with for centuries, and we have to be civically involved in making sure. That's why I love people like, didn't you love Atlanta, Georgia? I said, yeah. I said, because it's our little Wakanda. You got a black prosecutor that's the only one you got black women prosecutors, Dr. Woods, who are the only people who had the kahunas to bring Donald Trump to justice. Kudos to black women.
All right. And you know what? We're gonna continue this conversation, Dennis, because I've got to have you back on the show.
Oh, thank you.
They have given me my 0 minutes up on the chart.
Oh, is it time to go?
Whole hour goes by so fast.
Oh God.
But I know we were having fun, and we got to bring you back on because it's just that important that we do what you said you wanted to do. That is to educate. And I've got to have you back on to talk about those things that our people need to be educated about. So you all know this has been Dennis M. Clark on what's happening in your neck of the woods, talking about politics, the importance of registering to vote and to vote. He's working in the district attorney's office, y'all. It don't get no better. It don't get no better than that, because he can help you, especially if you've lost your rights to vote. Get those rights restored. He's working for an attorney or someone in there that their specific job is just to do that. So you all hit him up. Today is Saturday. You all know how I end my show. Tomorrow is Sunday. You all find your church home. If you don't have one, find your church home. Go to that church and praise the Lord and give him thanks for all the blessings that he's giving you. And if you can't make it to church, now with technology, you can sit at home in your bed or lay at home in your bed, walk around in your living room or kitchen and watch a church service from your computer. You don't even have to leave your house, but please give God the what he deserves, and that's thanks and praises for the blessings that he's blessed us all with. And if you don't have a church home to go to, you're always invited to Greater Emmanuel Apostolic Church, where the Pastor Paul Warfield Jr. is the senior pastor. And you know how we get down at the Apostolic Holy Ghost Church. Ain't nothing like a party like a Holy Ghost party, because a Holy Ghost party don't stop. So you all are welcome there at 400 Tunnel Boulevard every Sunday at 10:30. And until next week, we're going to bring y'all some more juice. Until next week, you all be careful out there and be blessed.